Yeah, it's always obviously disappointing when your season comes to an end, and these days are never easy. But I think there's a lot of things that we can look back on this year and be proud of. Obviously, our start wasn't where we wanted it to be, and the way we fought and came back, and we were right there at the end. Obviously, got away from us against San Jose that game, but we were playing some meaningful hockey, the last month or two, and I thought our group did a great job of, coming to the rink every day and having that mindset and getting a lot of points down the stretch.
The result was the same, no playoffs. But does this year feel different because of the way you played down the stretch? That this group is closer to turning the corner than you were a year ago on this day?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's definitely more positives this year coming out of it than last year for sure. Yeah, like I said, we're disappointed we're not in it this year. I think if we had a better start, we definitely could be playing right now. But um, we have such a great core group of guys. Like everyone in the locker room is awesome. Everyone gets along, and I think our older guys did a great job of leading the way this year. We had some unbelievable performances from guys, 240 goal scorers and guys just playing big minutes. And our young guys did a great job coming in, especially at the deadline when we lost some key players to our group. Those young guys came in, stepped up, and played big roles for us going down the stretch. So definitely more things to be excited for heading into next season. And I think we really just need to focus on the start next year.
There's a new GM coming in. There could be more changes beyond that. Just how eager are you to see what happens this summer and what the direction it takes?
Yeah, I think we're all obviously looking forward to it. I think first you got to congratulate Barry on such an amazing career coaching and GMing. But they clearly they've taken their time. They're doing the process, and they're trying to find the right guy for the job. And we got all the faith in the world that they're going to find the right guy. And excited to meet him and find out who it is.
What would your message for the new GM be?
Oh, I think the message would be we're close. We're right there. I mean, we proved it this year that we got a lot of guys that have been there before and know how to win, and guys that have played in meaningful playoff games. And I think that we have a great blend of older veteran guys and younger guys that can play in this league as well. So I don't think we're too far away, and that'd be my message to him.
What felt differently for you personally in year two versus year one with this franchise?
I think just probably more comfortable. I think right away at the start of or last year, it's always difficult coming to a new city, a new system, a new team, and all that. And I just felt way more comfortable, around the rink this year. And just with my game, I think I can be better. But I thought my play was just, much better than last year and more consistent. Obviously, I'd like to produce a little more from the blue line. That wasn't quite there this year, but just I'd say much more comfortable this year going into it, and hopefully next year even more.
Brady, what do you make of the way that the veteran guys and the younger guys that came in and established themselves really kind of meshed and gelled, and how can you build off of something like that moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's a testament to both older guys and younger guys just working together, kind of for a common goal. I think we all knew at Thanksgiving we had to do something special to try to get back into it, and we did that. And that was older guys playing great, and younger guys obviously making that step and becoming full-time NHL guys. So like I said, we have such a great mix on the ice and off the ice of people and players, old, young. It's just a great group to be around, and really looking forward to next year and getting the season going. Good.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Brady.
Yep, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Not the place you want to be at this time of the year. As you get into your 30s, do you start thinking about Stanley Cups and things like that? Almost like a mortality of your career.
I mean, you always do. That's why you play at this point. You play to win, and obviously every time you don't, like I said, there's a disappointment. It's 31 teams are going to feel that feeling, which is why it's probably the hardest trophy in the world to win. But for us, it's you want to get a chance, and obviously we had a great push, but when you don't make the playoffs, it's obviously a disappointing feeling. I prefer to be playing today, obviously, rather than talking, but at the same time, it's part of the process.
With the potential changes at general manager and everything. Is this kind of a weird feeling for you guys as players going into this offseason, or do you only worry about what you can do on the
Yeah,
ice?
no, I think it's a little bit of both. You obviously, best case scenario is we hired someone already, but at the same time, the staff is, we've got a good ownership group that know what they're doing. I think it was handled well even throughout the adversity that we're going through. Barry announcing his retirement, I thought the rest of the season he was handled well on all fronts, and obviously by the players, we just kind of focus on our thing and play hockey. And like I said, I'm sure it'll be taken care of sooner than later. But at the same time, I don't think the direction of this team is not necessarily depending on a GM. I don't think there's somebody coming in just trying to do his thing. I think it's pretty clear that we have something exciting coming, especially down the stretch here, last few games, and obviously love to keep building on that.
What would you like to see in terms of the direction, who's next, and kind of what's next for the team?
No, I think just keep building. At the end of the day, we showed progress. Like I said, especially down the stretch, showed that there's a lot of youth, not a lot of excitement on that way. We showed that some of us old farts still got some some good hockey in us, and obviously not slowing down anytime soon. And I think that's a great opportunity for anyone really to come in and take advantage of. It's not like you're coming in on a team that's at the bottom and needs to be blown up, in my opinion. And I think whoever we hire, I'm sure is going to share that view. And but at the same time, we need to adapt, we need to evolve, we need to be better next year and make the playoffs. And I think we have a lot of those tools in house already, and certainly a couple of things that needs to be done. And whether it's in house or out of house, so to speak, will be taken care of.
The last 3 years, the starts of the season have been slow. It's a couple years ago, you guys overcame that. Last couple, you haven't been able to. How important, I guess, is to fix that moving forward, and how big of a problem do you think that's been ultimately for you guys?
No, I mean it's last year. I think it certainly didn't set us up for success, but at the same time, it's not like we were missing by a point like we did this year, kind of. So last year, I think or this year, I think it certainly is the factor that we're talking to you guys right now. Obviously, we're 6-12 and something like that to start the season, and last team in the league at one point, and that doesn't really matter when in the season that happens. You're going to have a hard time fighting back, and we almost did it. I don't know what I just heard some odds. There's like less than a % chance of making it, and we were. I don't know how many points it ended up being, but basically an elimination game to in or out, and which is credit to us, but also same group kind of put us in that spot as well. So I think that's certainly something we need to address and kind of man to man, want to own up to and be ready to go. And like I said, I'm not saying we need to lead the league in Christmas, but we certainly can't be last. It's a hard battle to go through.
What do you think Steven Stamkos proved this year at his age, doing what he did with a slow start and then just on a tear throughout the year and ended up with 4 goals?
I honestly, I think he just played. Like, he proved, obviously, that he's, one of the best goal scorers in this league's history. He proved that he's an unbelievable teammate to all of us, which we already saw last year, but it's the stuff that, you don't get points and numbers and remarks for that from the media and things like that. And, I've loved every second of him being here. It's been awesome playing alongside him, getting to know his family, and then, couldn't be more happy that he had that success. And you see what it did to our team too. I don't know how many game-winning goals he had, but I think he led the league on a team that didn't make the playoffs, which is pretty special. And I'm really happy for him.
Phil, what can you say just about how Andrew's kind of handled the last few years with you guys, and what's your endorsement for him maybe staying, even though you guys do have change coming up in the front office?
Yeah, I think it's been great. I mean, like I said, it's certainly. I wish he would have done. I'm sure he wish he would have done things different just because we haven't made the playoffs. But at the same time, sometimes it's not easy being the coach. It's not necessarily the easiest job. You got to control the players, and you got to control. I'm sure there's people pulling strings from him as well. So I think I love him. I love playing for him pretty much every game for 3 years, and I'm definitely all for that going forward.
Cool. Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, guys.
Obviously a little disappointed that we're not in. I think that was a goal that was pretty far from us, despite the hole that we kind of dug ourselves beginning of the year. I think we battled back overall pretty good, and really disappointed for sure.
John, how do you feel about, I guess, the way things have gone personally for you these 2 years, and how do you feel about kind of where things stand with the organization, with a new general manager coming in and all those things?
Yeah, disappointed for sure. I've had my worst year ever, so there's only one way to I'm a positive guy, so I will bounce back from that, and I'll do everything I can this summer to be ready for next year. Obviously, we're changing management, and it's going to be a different voice, a different view, and I'm definitely excited to see where is that going. But yeah, I mean, for me, it just to control what I can control, really, and just gonna look myself in the mirror this summer and focus on that.
When all you guys were signed a year ago, the goal at the time was to make this a cup contending team. That hasn't
Yeah.
happened in 2 years. But how confident are you can be part of that solution to get there ultimately?
Yeah, I mean, I've done it before, being in a successful place. So I believe I can be a guy that can help a team get there. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely still up to the task. So yeah, it's a tough question for sure. But I mean, yeah, I think I can be there, bring a team to that level. But I think when you do big moves like that, like as a team organization, it never stops trying to make moves to get better and get to the playoff, that contender that you want to be. And definitely, like I said, definitely excited to see who's going to come in and take on that task. I know I would love one day to be in a situation like that. You know, it's an unreal place to live, great fans, great arena to play in, beautiful place to live. Like I said, really family oriented for everyone, and I think it's a dream job for a GM. I think to come in a place like that. So yeah, definitely excited to see who's it going to be.
The last 2 years, the starts obviously have really kind of killed you guys of seasons. Like, how much of a point of emphasis does that have to be next year, given how big of a problem it's been the last 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, sometimes it's a little bit immature on our group. Games are definitely way harder to win after Christmas than before Christmas, and you get to a hot start. You look at the teams that get to a hot start. Some teams that they've had a good first 15, 20 games, and they're just 500 for the rest of the year, and then the playoffs. So, yeah, I think it's important to be mindful of that, and yeah, but right now it's a long summer ahead of us, and it's disappointing the outcome that we're in, but I mean, long summers sometimes can be good for you.
How frustrating was this year with not only just the results that you talked about with your game, but just the injuries that you had to battle through? Was this the most frustrating year that you've had personally?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was not in a good headspace. I wasn't the person that I'm usually am, and yeah, it's ended up uh, going against me, and it's part of it, like whatever how you feel the body and everything. If you're not in a good mindset, I think not a lot of success happens to people that don't have a good mindset. And I'm normally a really really positive person and look at what you can control and all that kind of stuff. And this year I wasn't, so it reflects the year that I had, and we're definitely gonna try to change that.
Do you want to be here as part of the solution moving forward? Have you had conversations about moving elsewhere? Like, kind of where has that stood over the last few months?
Yeah, I mean, it's an unbelievable group of guys here. That's one thing I'll tell you. I want to be around those guys, and I want to be I want to be playing playoff games. But I'm aware that if I play the way I played like this year, I'm not going to bring any team to the playoffs. So I think you got to look at yourself in the mirror. There's guys that made a difference this year, and there's guys that didn't make a difference, and I didn't make a difference this year. So, yeah, I want to take ownership towards that and look at myself in the mirror and help the Preds get to playoff team.
Thank you, John. Thanks, John.
Well, you just overall this season, you guys don't make the playoffs, but for you, just how do you feel after a season like this, and given how many games that you've played as well?
I mean, yeah, obviously, it sucks when you don't make the playoffs. Ultimately, you want to get in there too. So, yeah, first feeling is obviously disappointing.
You just obviously got to play those last few big games for you guys. What was it like to see him handle those games?
Yeah, obviously he was playing well and giving us a chance to win those games.
How do you feel about obviously you guys have a new GM coming in this summer, just your mindset, obviously your contract starts this year as well, just how are you feeling going in with new management coming in?
I mean, yeah, obviously it's hard to say because you don't know who's coming in or what's his plans, so yeah, we'll see then.
You sat out a couple games there early. I guess how did you kind of take that and deal with it? It's not something that seems like you're usually out there almost every night.
Yeah, obviously you wanna play and help the team out, but yeah, that's sports. Sometimes then you at those situations you just gotta be a good teammate and help out in another way.
What did you kind of make of the development of Juuse Saros? Is it helpful to have somebody like that behind you that can take a lot of starts and team can trust in addition to what you're doing?
Yeah, I think he showed it already a couple of years that he's a good goalie for this league and helped us a lot.
Obviously, a summer of change coming, right? New GM, potentially other changes as well. What do you think about the potential of changes across the board? Maybe players get moved out, maybe they stay, but you just never know. Do you think about that right now?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like you said, don't really know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, you never really know in this business, but yeah, obviously depends a lot who's coming in.
Thanks, Juuse.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, obviously we didn't reach our goal. We're not, in the dance right now, and it's, tough to turn on the TV and watch, those other teams playing right now. I think, we got a lot to be proud of this year. I think our battle, our resilience. I mean, to go from, last place in the league after 20-something games and then, in the final 60-something to go and be basically a top 10 team. It's, I mean, we're capable. I think that kind of proves that. That's a pretty large sample size of, playing as a playoff team and, right around that, top 10 team mark. So, yeah, be proud in that sense. But I think, yeah, like we said, it's disappointing to be done so early.
What do you think you proved this year with the year that you had?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was important for me personally to have kind of a bounce back year after last year. I didn't like how last year went. Obviously from a team standpoint or a personal standpoint, I felt like I had more to give, obviously. But yeah, it was nice to kind of step up a little bit and obviously have a bigger role and bigger opportunity and kind of contribute more and be more of a positive impact. And I think it was definitely a step in the right direction. I don't think I'm where I want to be yet. I think I still have more growing to do, more developing to do, and take more steps in the future. But yeah, it was definitely a step in the right direction for my game.
With the late start with the contract situation, did you almost feel like a step behind for a while when the season started?
I honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought, to be honest with you. I think going into it, maybe the night before that first game, or you're kind of just in my mind, I was like, maybe some of the plays, aren't going to, look as open to me as, they usually do. I just want to control, my effort, my competitiveness, and just make sure I was getting my feet wet in that sense and kind of getting my feet under me. But honestly, it probably took a week or two, but it wasn't, as drastic of a change as I thought it was going to be. It was, it wasn't too hard to convert back to, that regular season mode.
Got a new general manager coming in, obviously. How are you feeling about kind of where things are right now and where things could be going with all the uncertainty that's out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, who's in charge is a little bit uncertain, but I think
from a team standpoint, I think we have a lot of returning players. We're hoping that it's a very similar team, and we get a chance to run it back. Like I suggested, I think basically after the first 20 games, we kind of proved that we're a capable team. Being right around that top 10 team in the league mark, it's pretty impressive comeback from where we started. I think obviously next year that's got to be our focus point, is having a better start. I think that's 2 years in a row now where we're basically last in the league after 20 games, and it was just too deep of a hole to fight ourselves out of. But yeah, I mean, in terms of uncertainty, I mean, I really like our squad. Obviously we've preached the whole year about the locker room that we have, the chemistry, the love that we have. I think, as I suggested, basically for 75% of the year we're playing, at a good rate, a good pace, and getting those points, and having a good record for the last 60. But it's just got to be a better start for us, I think, next year.
Luke, obviously the elevated role, top 6 power play this year. How do you think you handle it? You mentioned that you still have room to grow, but how do you think you handled it this year?
I liked it. I mean, I felt like I did a lot of, as hard of a year as last year was, personally, and as a team, I think there's a lot of growth in, being able to fight your way out of that and come out on the other side of it. And I learned, a lot about my game, a lot about, myself mentally. Those losses that you take, you can only, gain knowledge from them if, you're open-minded about it, and you sit down and kind of reflect on it. And I think I did a good job of that this summer. And yeah, like you suggested, kind of came in and wanted to have a more positive impact this year, and obviously was gunning for that bigger role, and was fortunately able to find some chemistry with guys like Factor, Phil, Stammer, Halsey, all those guys. Yeah, just play more elevated minutes against the other team's top liner too. So I like the response. Like I said, I also don't think I'm where I want to be yet. I think I still got more growth and development to do, and I want to take more strides. I'll be working on that this summer and obviously in the next year. But it was a step in the right direction for sure.
You mentioned Stammer and Phil. Both of them got 40, and you had a hand in a lot of it. What's that like for you? Being a part of guys like that who just can score goals like that. You having assisted on so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, at first it's still kind of surreal to me a little bit when you sit down and think like, you're playing on a line with Steven Stamkos, you're playing on a line with Filip Forsberg, and you help setting them up for their 40th goal. It's cool when you think about it in that sense, but I think with where I got my game to this year, I was able to kind of build some chemistry with guys like that. Like, obviously I'm the playmaker on that line. Those guys are scoring a lot more goals than me, so I think just being able to use my skill set and the playmaking to kind of elevate their games as much as I can help them. And yeah, like you said, for those guys to both hit 40, it's super impressive, and I was super glad I got the chance to play a good chunk of the year as their line mate.
Are you hoping to a place in the future where you're also shooting more and having more opportunities to score for yourself too?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like I said, I don't think I'm at my final form yet. I still got strides to take, and that's definitely an area that I think I can improve. Is obviously being a dual threat is it'll just make you that much more dangerous. Whether the opposition doesn't know if you're looking to pass or looking to shoot, and obviously you kind of gain more respect the more goals and shots you take. So yeah, like you said, I think that's definitely an area in my game that I'd like to develop and kind of take that next step next year.
With the contract done and getting through this year and taking the steps you did, do you feel like it kind of unlocked maybe the next level of your career coming up here, hopefully over the next couple of years?
Yeah, hopefully kind of, this year can, kind of be the start of a new chapter for me, I think, a little bit. Obviously, your first couple of years in the league, you're going to face adversity. There's learning curves, there's ups and downs, all that sort of stuff, and that's just part of being a young player. I think this year, like you said, kind of finding some more consistency and, finding that role and finding chemistry with line mates like I suggested, Stammer, Factor, Phil, Halsey, all those guys. Just kind of taking that next step. I think that this was a step in the right direction. I'm happy with the season I had. Still think there's more going to do, but yeah, I think it could be the start of something great for sure.
Thanks, guys.
It's really hard, and yeah, it's a really hard league, hard, and you gotta make sure that you take care of yourself. And I mean, it's a never-ending, like, make sure you get your sleep, eat well. Like, it's really hard, and those things, even though they don't seem like big deal, like when you play every other day, it really matters. And you know, I felt like it was good to learn from guys that have been here and doing it for a long time, and you know, they're really good at it. So they really helped me with that.
What do you think you proved this year, having the year that you did, kind of navigating through all that?
Yeah, I think I proved that I definitely am an NHL player, and obviously I still want to, I still expect a lot more out of myself. I mean, I proved that I can play center and you know, play any position, which is, you know, it's an advantage for me, I guess. And but yeah, no, I think I'm happy that I proved to myself that, you know, this is I'm comfortable here and I can do this. And I mean, I'm proved that I can develop, and I feel like my trajectory has been that I'm always improving my game, and I don't see that stopping for as long as I physically can. And you know, I love playing hockey and improving, so I plan on, you know, trying to keep improving. And you know, I want to, like I said, I expect a lot of myself, and that's how I'm going to treat this summer and come back and be ready and improve a lot more.
Well, when people start, you know, talking about the future of this team, you're one of the first names that come up. I guess, do you feel maybe that responsibility as people are trying to identify what that next core group is going to be around here, that you can kind of be one of those drivers that's leading the way?
I would love to be, and obviously, like, I love Nashville. I'm so glad that I'm here, and this team, these guys. It's, you know, that's obviously, you know, that would be a dream come true. And I think, I mean, I believe in myself, and I believe in all the guys that we have, old and young, and you know, nobody knows what the future holds. So it's going to be an exciting time for everyone.
Matt, you can look back at this year and see this group as there was a lot of resolve at times during some dark times. As you keep going in your career, this is obviously a year that you can kind of come back to. What are just some of the biggest takeaways from you just seeing this group throughout the whole season?
I think, you know, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is probably we were pretty sure there was a point near the end of November we were the very last team in the league. So I think a big thing to take out of this year is, like, you're never out of it. Like, we were two games away, like, and you know, we had a really good stretch of games. We were feeling good, so who knows what would have happened. You just got to get into the playoffs, and I think it's important to never give up. And I think it starts, you know, everyone's really grateful for the leadership that we had, because it starts with them. And hopefully one day I want to be in that position myself, and if this ever, you know, comes up, it's a good thing for me to be like, hey, like, I've been through this. I saw how those guys did it, and you know, I'd want to, you know, do it the way those guys did, because they handled it, you know, really well, and inspired everyone.
If you had to maybe identify a couple of things that you took away from playing with Steven Stamkos this year, what kind of stands out to you about that, maybe on the ice or off the ice?
Yeah, I mean, he scored his 600th goal, so he knows how to score. And but I think, you know, one of my really good friends is he always loved Stamkos growing up, so it's just kind of like, at first it's surreal, and but it's really cool to see, you know, all these guys are just really good human beings, and they want the best for the team, and they have each other's backs and have everyone on the team's back. And so I think that's where it starts. Like, you can't get 600 goals unless you know, have everything together, and you know, come from a good place, good intentions. And so I think, you know, as far as Stammer, like, he's an unbelievable guy, and he deserves everything that he's gotten.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Have a good summer.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be playing right now. I think it's definitely there's definitely a mixed feeling. In one hand, as players, organization, our goal is to make the playoffs, and we didn't do that this year, so we fell short of that goal. But yeah, at the same time, I think the way we played, I don't know, pretty much after I think like Thanksgiving, when we lost the league, after that, the way we played as a team, obviously gave us a chance and played some really meaningful games. But this day is always a weird day because you you don't want to be here. You want to be playing hockey. So we fell short of that, and yeah, we had some meetings. Obviously, we got to decompress, but we got to come back and do everything we can to make it back in the playoffs. That's what it's all about.
It had become commonplace for your teams here to be in the playoffs, and now this is 2 years in a row, 3 of 4 not there. What has to be different next year for this group to get back there?
I think it starts with each guy individually. I think the summer is a good time for everyone to reflect. I think you reflect as a team, but you reflect it as a player, as an individual player, and I'm certainly going to do that. I think I'm a big part of this group, and I'm going to look at what I can do better to help us get back in the playoffs, and I think if you do that, that the team's going to play a lot better, and yeah, and one of the things we always talk about is the starts. The past couple of years, we didn't start well. The last 3 years, I think, and it's hard to get back, and that's definitely emphasis. But like I said, the summer is a good time for everyone to figure out what they want to work on, what they want to get better at, what they want to do better in the past year, and yeah, I'm certainly going to do that.
Roman, you've had a full year now, not only with your treatment for POTS, but also using the collar and everything. How would you assess your kind of overall health at this point, and like seeing how that's helped throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, it's good. I definitely felt a lot better than last year, and I think the collar obviously was I think it helped me a ton. I tried it in training camp, and it was just really good for impacts and everything for me, and I like I said, I did a lot of other things, changed a lot of other things in my life, kind of like off the ice too, and I think it helped, and it was obviously this year was a big year with a lot of games, the Olympics, traveling and stuff. So like yeah, I've I felt good, and yeah, felt very healthy.
What were the benefits physically, mentally of adding the Olympics to the schedule for you this season?
The benefits?
Yeah, or challenges of it.
Well, I think the challenges were the condensed schedule, obviously, just playing a lot more games in a shorter amount of time, and obviously we had the Sweden trip as well as a team, so that was that. But at the same time, it was an amazing experience. I wouldn't change it for anything. Like, the Olympics were awesome, and I think everybody went there said the same thing. It's always so much fun to represent your country, and I think every guy would say the same thing. So obviously the schedule was a little different. Next year's going to be a little bit more normal, and which will be nice. But like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything. The Olympics were amazing.
Roman, do you sense that this summer could be maybe a turning point or a changing of kind of the franchise in terms of not only is there a new GM coming in, but what's going to happen with some of the older players, and you just never know what kind of decisions are going to be made there. Do you think that you could see something like that happening this summer?
Yeah, I mean, I think every time somebody new comes in, and the GM obviously is kind of the one that runs the organization. So I think the new GM is going to come in with his ideas. The new GM is going to have a whole plan, and I'm sure he'll communicate that to the players. He'll communicate that to the media, and yeah, I don't know what his plan is going to be. I think nobody does, but yeah. I know they're doing everything they can to find the right person, and yeah, when that time is there, I'm sure he'll have conversation with everyone.
One of those first decisions is probably about the future of your head coach. How anxious are you just to see what that looks like when it's all said and done?
Yeah, I mean, we love Bruno, and I think he's done an amazing job. It hasn't been easy for him as well. I think the way we started and you need everyone to get out of this. And he's done a great job to get us out of it. And after November, we all stuck together and came out of it, made a push, and I think obviously everybody I think wants to have a new GM as soon as possible, but it takes some time. I think everybody's doing the right thing and trying to fight the right person, and he'll be here whenever he'll be here, and then we'll go from there.
You're obviously not old, but you're getting up there in terms of your career at this point. How confident are you with some of the young guys who came up that this team can get back into a contending status here in the next short term?
Yeah, I mean, I think the young kids done. They did an amazing job coming up, and you see the way we played after the trade deadline, and the way they played, and there's a lot of kids, even kids that haven't played this year that are waiting to make it in the NHL. So I think we got a really, really good prospect pool, and obviously I think like you're right, like there's a lot of guys that are a bit on the older side, and then there's the young kids, and it's been a lot of fun. They bring a ton of energy, and I'm excited for who's coming out next and making an impact.
Yes, off of that, how do you think the veteran guys and the younger guys kind of came together and, like you said, maybe fed off of each other, and then how can you build on something like that moving forward?
I thought it was great. I love our team chemistry. I think it's a really good mix, and like I said, we have a lot of veterans, and we have a lot of leaders on this team, which is, for me as a captain, it's amazing to have guys like Stammer, O'Reilly, and Phil. Just guys who've been captains on other teams. It's the leadership. Those guys are doing an amazing job, and I think we just the young kids, their energy, their personalities coming in, and I just think it's a good mix, and I feel like we gelled really well together.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure like the other guys were saying, it's really disappointing. Something we talked about was taking a big step forward and getting back in the playoffs, and it's crazy how much we were close, but still it's very disappointing. And you reflect on the whether it's a penalty shot, a shootout, or one little mistake or something like that. It's crazy. It's just so many little things that add up, and you don't make it in. So it's we're all disappointed. It's not where we want to be, but give credit. It's we battled back. It was dark there for a while. Really rough start, but very impressed by the group of guys. We kept fighting, came together, and gave ourselves a chance. Whether it was young guys coming up and making an impact, or veteran guys find a way to lead and get something out of it. It is what it is.
What do you anticipate this summer? I mean, it could be a summer of some pretty big changes. Potentially, it's obviously new GM, potentially a new coach. Who knows? But what are you kind of anticipating this summer?
Well, from what we're hearing, it's plans to get back in the playoffs next year, and I think that's obviously GM will be, no idea who it will be, but I think it'll be some changes happening, and myself, you gotta focus on getting better. Where did I struggle this year? Where can I find ways to improve? Obviously not getting any younger for other guys, but you got to find a way to learn and get better and faster, and way to keep up. So it's it takes some time here and figure it out, but it is all in all, though, it is disappointing we're not playing playoff hockey.
When you talk about kind of the change that happened in November, what do you attribute that to, being able to find this team's way back and be so close?
There's many things. I think we had a big meeting too, and one of Trotzy's messages during that meeting was, let's win the week. And kind of from then on, we went on a tear and won the week. I think we only lost 2 weeks the whole time going up to that. So it was kind of, we had a meeting there, and I think we simplified and got back, and I think a little momentum and a little more settled in our system, and found a way to generate something, and it started to make the game fun again. And it was I think every guy that, whether you're called up for a game or guys that have been here, everyone was stepping up in a different way to try to make something happen, and it was fun to see. It's just yeah, still just a little. It's very disappointing just about how close we were and didn't get it because it was. I liked. I felt once if we got into the playoffs, weren't going to go away easy. I was going to give a good chance. So it's, yeah.
The direction continues to be that there's going to be more and more younger players inserted in the lineup. Is that something you're okay with, even if it means there's maybe some bumps taken along the way?
Well, it's tough to say. What I'm hearing is, we want to get back in the playoffs and don't really know exactly what will happen. It's tough to predict it, but yeah, I want to win, and as of right now, it's win here and be a part of this. And we've got so many good pieces here, the veteran guys. Sure, we're getting older, but if we can add the right pieces, we could be right back in the mix. It's looking at these teams and teams we played down the stretch, we're right there with them. And so I don't think we're far away. But obviously there are changes going to happen. But yeah, I'm hoping to be with this group and find a way to make something happen.
Ryan, what did you make of the way that the veteran guys like yourself gelled and meshed with some of those younger guys that really established themselves, and how do you build off of something like that?
Yeah, I think going back to the year before this, I feel I feel like as a group we were a little more separated. And there's still great guys, but it's kind of older and younger. Where I think this year, we really, I guess, knew and discussed that we have to be a cohesive group, and us veterans have to bring younger guys in, and everyone feel that responsibility and that power. And I thought we did a much better job at that. And it is from teams I've played on, this is one of the closest groups I've been a part of. The young guys, the older guys, the way guys get along. Even when it was not going so well here, it was still fun coming to the rink and being around the group, whether it's joking around or just finding ways to compete with each other. It was there's a lot of good character here, and hopefully we can add to it and get back and be successful, because it's just the characters I think too good to waste.
Because of the way you guys meshed in the second half of the year, does it feel closer to a turning point this year than maybe a year ago, or is that impossible to feel on the day you pack up and head to summer?
No. I think there's definitely, both years I think come with their fair share of disappointment. I know that, but this year, I thought, I think a little more pride, I guess, in how we found a way to kind of get back into it. And I thought over the stretches we became a much better team. And it's just, we failed not getting into the playoffs, but we definitely kind of came closer and, put a game out there that, we can be proud of. And that's something that, we hope is just going to be added to, and, we get back at it next year.
You mentioned wanting to stay here. You have a year left on your deal. When a new GM is named, is that kind of one of your orders of business to express that desire to stay, or are you just going to let things play out?
Yeah, it'd be I think it'd be nice to see where, get a new GM and then see where that stands. Obviously, I think everyone here, we know how great of a city Nashville is, and playing here has been amazing, and definitely like to stay. We'll kind of see how that plays over and what kind of, I guess, the direction is going forward with myself.
I know your name came up the last couple of trade deadlines, and Barry treated you as if you had him there. That's something on your mind this summer? Maybe when Barry's not here, or you just things you control or things you can't control?
Yeah, no, it would be nice to kind of have that security and could settle in more. But again, we don't, I think, have a full idea of what's going on and who the new guy will be. But, I feel, the guys want me here. I want to be here. It'd be nice to work something out. But, I guess it's part of the business that, I appreciate Barry treating me like that I have a no move, because, who knows what's going to happen. But, I'm hoping things work out and can stay here.
Ryan, with so much uncertainty this offseason, what would your message be for the next year?
We're not too far away. I feel, looking at the core and the veteran guys, I think a lot of us still are, have a few good years left in us, and that if we can, add maybe a piece or two, that we'd be close and be right there with any other team. So, I'm optimistic that we can be a contender, and it's gonna, it'll be interesting to see over the summer how it goes. But there's so many
people in here, so many good players that, I'm confident that we can make something happen.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Anytime, guys.
Yeah, it still stings a little bit. I think, we all play the game to be playing at this time of the year, and you catch yourself watching the games and thinking, how fun it is at this time of the year to play, and that's, like I said, that's the expectation here, which still is the expectation. So it stings a little bit when you look how this season went, and obviously the start is a big reason why we're not playing right now. But when you have a few days to just digest it, you're certainly proud of the effort we put in since Thanksgiving, and you saw the potential of what can be. You start looking at the different stats of where we were in the standings after that. I think we were top 10. The power play was a top 10 power play. The penalty kill was a top 5 penalty kill. I mean, you start to look at some of the trends, and it was there. It's just we got to find a way to start the season better. It's been a few years in a row, and that's kind of been the message heading into this summer was, even less time for training camp next year with the addition of the 2 regular season games. We got to find a way to start the year better.
Steven, how are you feeling about, obviously you mentioned it last week, there's a lot of uncertainty with general manager and what's going to happen, and things have not gone to plan until this point. How are you feeling about where things stand at the moment?
Yeah, again, obviously, that process is ongoing with the new management, team that's going to be assembled here. And I think we just, we had some meetings today, and I think the message was, the expectation is still to be a competitive team and to push for the playoffs. So I don't anticipate any huge changes, right? And we've kind of talked about, is there going to be a rebuild, this, that. I think that's probably safe to say not going to be the case. I think we all want to be part of the solution. Like I said, we saw it for 60 games or 55 games of what the process can look like, and the integration of some of the younger guys and the veteran guys, pulling their weight, and obviously the goaltending that we have here is something we can build off of. So there's going to be some changes for sure, but I think the overall message that was portrayed to us today was, let's have a great summer and let's get off to a really good start next year and push for the playoffs, because that's what every team's goal is at the end of the year.
What do you think you proved this year individually? The numbers weren't great to start the year, and then you went on an absolute tear to get to 40 again. What do you think you proved this year?
Well, I don't know if prove's the right word. I mean, I had 17 years in the league before this one where, you have an expectation of yourself as an individual, and you can't control what the perception is from the other people. But for me, I was just proud of our group for how we responded after that tough start, and proud of myself for how I responded after that tough start. It could have easily, if we allowed it, gone the other way, which we didn't, which is a testament to the character of this group, from the coaching staff to the players, to the training staff. I mean, just we didn't quit. And again, with some of those numbers I just threw out, there's some positive signs there. So for me, it was just obviously talked about the second year versus the first year, just in the comfort level. And then obviously a tough start, but just trying to maybe change some things, for me as a guy who likes to score goals and help your team offensively, was, maybe getting to the net a little more, getting to some different areas that I had been in the past. And then you get on a little roll, and then, confidence is a huge thing as an individual and collectively as a group. And we saw that start to snowball in the right way. And there's things to build on for sure, but it's tough to sit here and think of all those things when we fell short of the goal. And, I mean, it's not a bad thing, I don't think, for any of us to feel that way, because you should be a little pissed off that we're not playing hockey right now, especially with the group that we have here. So it's just, sometimes it's tough to get past that right away and move forward, but there is a path there, and I think all of us believe that, and we'll obviously see what shakes down here in the next month or two, or however long it takes to get new management in here. But I think the message is going to be the same, that let's try to improve this roster in any way we can and get back into the playoffs.
Filip just told me that he has a fire because of the way he thought you could still be playing right now. As a guy who's lifted the ultimate prize in this sport, I mean, can you feel that on this day? Do you feel like this team is close to maybe turning the corner to getting to that place?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's disappointing when you don't achieve the goal that you set out at training camp. And it's tough to look at the positive things, but there was a lot. And I think the sample size was big enough to prove that it's not just a fluke streak or anything. I mean, we were a top 10 team since Thanksgiving, right? We talked about winning the week every week, and there was a stat, I think since then it was only 2 weeks that we didn't win, and that was the trade deadline week and then the last couple games of the season, which obviously stings, but it's there, and we have an identity to this team, and when we played to that, we were successful. I mean, it didn't always look pretty out there, but we stuck together, and I mean, no matter what you accomplish in this league, it starts over again the next year, right? So whether it's an individual or as a team, you always want to improve, and then you want to go and prove that, and that's what we're going to have to do. And I think the main thing is that I think there's a belief still in the core group of guys that are here, and you saw the young players get their chance and what they were capable of doing, and they're going to have to bring more next year, and the veteran guys are going to have to bring again what they brought this year, and that's how you improve. So that'll be the blueprint anyways heading into next year.
You played a good bit with Vange this year, and he had a lot of helpers on your goals. How did you see him evolve from your first season to this season?
Well, I think, you always saw the skill, I think, and you saw the potential there, and I think it was tough for Vange knowing him more now as a person with the contract situation and how that can affect you a little bit. And he came in, and you didn't really see any of that, which is great. You saw a guy that came in with some confidence, and then you can see the plays that he sees and makes on the ice, and it was a huge part of our improvement as a team as the season went on was his play and his playmaking ability especially. And it took us a while there to figure out some of the line combinations, and the power play. You look back, it feels like it's 2 years ago, but the first 15 games things just weren't going right. But he had an unbelievable year, and now it's about doing it again and then getting better. And I'm sure he's hungry to prove that, but he was a big piece of why we were better offensively for sure.
Stammer Factor was saying that he could really feel this season the way that the veteran guys, the younger guys, came together and gelled, meshed. How did you see that play out, and how can you build off of something like that?
No, I felt that this was, certainly one of the best groups of players that I've played with in my career. And not just saying that to say it, you could feel it coming to the rink every day, just the camaraderie we had as a group, the character we had in that group, the leadership, and just whether it was a young guy or old guy coming to the rink and understanding, what we had to do to try to get better. And, that's the expectation here. And like I said, I think as the season went on, it could have easily went the other way, and that didn't happen. And it was great to be part of and see. And that's why it also hurts a little more when you have a group this tight that has a common goal and you don't get it done. So certainly some motivation.
The direction continues to be that more and more young players can be inserted in the lineup moving forward. Is that something you can get behind, something you'd be excited about being a part of?
Yeah, I mean, listen, whatever is going to happen here, I think the message was clear today, from the current management and the coaching staff, that from ownership to players, is that the expectation is to be a contending playoff team. And I don't think that is going to change in the nothing drastic is going to change that. So the message is pretty clear that we want to continue to get better, and for sure you want to be part of that. Like I said, you want to be part of that culture, and certainly, like I said, the veteran guys in this team have done a great job with the young guys and showing them what it's like to be a pro. Playing some meaningful hockey down the stretch was great for them to get that experience as well, and we want to continue that. So that's the mindset I have anyways going forward.
Thank you, Steven.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, thank you.